I, 20F, have been dating my boyfriend Adam, 27M, for the past year, and I need to get some outside perspective on a situation that just blew up between us. I know the title sounds bad, but please hear me out because there's a lot of history here. I met Adam last year when I signed up for a beginner's photography class at our local art school. I had just started college and wanted to learn photography as a hobby. Adam was the instructor, and from day one I was drawn to how passionate he was about teaching. He had this way of explaining complex concepts that made everything click. During the class, we kept things completely professional, but I could feel a connection building between us. After the course ended, we ran into each other at a coffee shop near campus and ended up talking for hours. He told me about his journey into photography, how he started with his grandfather's old film camera in high school, and how he built his own darkroom in his apartment. I shared my dreams of becoming a journalist and how I wanted to learn photography to help tell stories. One thing led to another and we started dating. The first 6 months were amazing. Adam introduced me to the whole world of analog photography. He had this incredible collection of vintage cameras and would take me on photo walks around the city. We'd spend entire weekends in his darkroom, developing photos and talking about art. He even gave me one of his old cameras to practice with. I really thought I had found someone special who wanted to share his passion with me. But there were always these weird moments that nagged at me. Adam had this locked cabinet in his darkroom that he was super protective about. Whenever I asked about it, he would get tense and change the subject. He also had this habit of hiding certain photos whenever we looked through his portfolios together. I tried not to overthink it, but it bothered me. Things started to change about 2 months ago. I was helping Adam deep clean his apartment because he was preparing for a gallery show. While organizing his closet, I found this old box stuffed way in the back. Inside were hundreds of carefully preserved photos, all of this same woman who I later learned was Becca, his ex-girlfriend. These weren't just regular relationship photos. They were artistic portraits that showed so much intimacy and love. There were morning shots of her wrapped in sheets with sunlight streaming across her face. Close-up studies of her hands working on pottery, she was apparently some kind of ceramic artist. Pages and pages of candid moments, her reading books, cooking dinner, laughing with friends. The dates on the back showed they were taken over the 3 years they dated in college. What really got to me was how different these photos were from the ones Adam takes of me. With me, it's always quick snapshots or basic posed portraits. He's never captured those intimate little moments like he did with Becca. I've never seen him look at me through his camera the way he clearly looked at her. When I confronted him about the photos, Adam got really defensive. He said they were from his formative years as a photographer and Becca had been his muse during an important time in his artistic development. He tried to explain that photography was different back then because he was still discovering his style. But all I could hear was that I wasn't inspiring enough to bring out that same creativity in him. The situation got worse when I discovered he still had dozens of undeveloped film rolls from his time with Becca. He claimed he couldn't develop them after their breakup 4 years ago because it was too painful, but also couldn't throw them away because they might contain important work from gallery shows and client projects. But if they were so important, why hadn't he developed them in 4 years? I became obsessed with those undeveloped rolls. What moments had he captured? Why was he preserving them? Every time we were in the darkroom together, I would stare at that locked cabinet knowing they were in there. Last week, everything came to a head. Adam was teaching a night class and I was alone in his apartment. I knew where he kept the darkroom key and I just couldn't take it anymore. I found the cabinet key hidden in his desk and opened it. Inside were exactly what I feared, dozens of film canisters meticulously labeled with dates and notes about Becca. Something in me snapped. All I could think about was him preserving these precious memories of her while treating our memories so casually. Before I could stop myself, I opened every single canister and exposed the film to light, effectively destroying whatever images were captured there. When Adam came home and discovered what I'd done, he completely lost it. He said I had no idea what I destroyed, that some rolls had important documentation of gallery installations and client work mixed in with the personal photos. He called me psychotic and said I had no respect for art or his career. I tried to explain how hurt I was by him treasuring these preserved memories of Becca, but he just kept saying I had crossed an unforgivable line. Now he's completely shut me out. He changed the locks to his apartment and the darkroom. His friends in the photography community are calling me crazy and saying I destroyed irreplaceable art. Some have even suggested he should press charges for destruction of property. My friends are divided on the situation. Some think I went way too far and let my insecurity get the best of me. Others say they understand why I snapped after finding all those intimate photos and realizing he was still holding on to so much of his past with Becca. I know destroying the film was wrong. But I also feel like Adam never gave our relationship the same creative energy and intimacy he had with Becca. He kept those memories locked away but still clearly treasured them more than the new ones we were making together. So Reddit, Ida? Did I completely overreact, or was I justified in being upset about him preserving all these intimate memories of his ex? Update 1: A lot has happened since my last post and I need to share the new developments. After everything blew up with the film incident, I tried to give Adam some space hoping he would cool down. But things have only gotten more complicated and painful. 3 days after our fight, I got a call from Maya, a mutual friend who works at the art school. She told me that Becca had found out about what happened with the film and was absolutely furious. Apparently, some of those rolls contained the only documentation of a major exhibition they had worked on together during their final year of college. The exhibition had been Becca's thesis project, these elaborate ceramic installations that Adam had photographed in a specific way to capture the play of light through the pieces. Maya said Becca was threatening to involve lawyers because the photos were technically part of her professional portfolio. I felt terrible about potentially destroying someone's professional work. Even though I was hurt about the personal photos, I never meant to damage anyone's career. After talking to Maya, I decided to try to apologize to Adam, at least for destroying any professional work that had been mixed in with the personal photos. When I went to his apartment last Friday evening, I was shocked to find Becca already there. They were sitting on the floor surrounded by old photo albums and loose prints. Empty wine glasses and takeout containers suggested they'd been at it for hours. The moment I saw them sitting so close together, heads bent over these intimate photos from their past, my heart dropped into my stomach. Becca noticed me first and her whole demeanor changed. She stood up and started laying into me about how I had no idea what I had destroyed. She kept going on about how those photos were irreplaceable documentation of her early work and how I had no respect for artists or the creative process. What hurt most was watching Adam just sit there silently while she berated me. He wouldn't even look at me. I started crying and finally Adam spoke up, not to defend me or calm the situation, but to tell me I needed to leave because they were in the middle of archiving what was left of his collection. The way he said it, like I was interrupting something important between them, made me feel like such an outsider. That's when things got even worse. Becca made a comment about how it was typical behavior from someone who didn't understand their special connection through art. Something about the way she said it made me suspicious, so later that night I started looking more closely at their social media activity over the past year. What I found devastated me. Adam and Becca had been meeting up regularly at photography exhibitions and gallery openings throughout our entire relationship. There were dozens of industry events where they had both been present, but Adam had never mentioned running into her. In fact, he always made these events sound very businesslike and boring, discouraging me from attending with him. I also found messages between them in a public photography forum where they discussed their unique artistic connection and how rare it was to find someone who truly understands your creative vision. Their exchanges were filled with inside jokes and references to shared memories. While none of it was explicitly romantic, the intimacy in their communication was obvious. When I confronted Adam about this over text, he first tried to dismiss it as normal professional networking. But after I pressed him, he admitted that he and Becca had maintained a close friendship, but he hadn't told me because he knew I would overreact. He claimed he needed to keep that connection for his career since they shared so many industry contacts. This past week has been a roller coaster. Some days Adam texts saying he misses me and wants to work things out. He'll apologize for not being more transparent and promise to set better boundaries with Becca. But then the next day he'll say he can't trust me anymore after what I did to his film collection and needs space to process everything. Meanwhile, Becca seems to be around him constantly now. Maya told me they're spending hours together in his darkroom, supposedly documenting the damage to his collection and preserving what's left. Becca has even been posting artsy black and white photos from these sessions, writing long captions about helping an old friend heal from senseless destruction. I'm staying with my sister now because I can't handle being in my apartment where everything reminds me of Adam and our photography sessions together. My sister thinks I should just walk away from the whole situation, but it's not that simple. I put so much of myself into learning photography and building a creative connection with Adam. Finding out that connection might have been one-sided while he maintained this deep artistic bond with Becca has completely shattered my confidence. I don't know what to do anymore. Part of me wants to fight for the relationship and prove I can be part of his artistic world too. But another part of me feels like I was just a temporary distraction while he maintained this ongoing connection with Becca. I never should have destroyed those films, but I'm starting to wonder if discovering what I did saved me from investing even more time in a relationship where I would always be second best. Update 2. I thought I had uncovered everything about Adam and Becca's relationship, but what I found out last week completely changed everything. The truth came out in a way I never expected, and honestly, it makes me feel like such a fool for not seeing it sooner. It started when I received a message from Emma, one of Adam's current photography students. She had been following the drama through the local art community gossip and decided to reach out because she couldn't keep quiet anymore. According to Emma, Adam and Becca had never actually broken up 4 years ago like he told me. They had just taken what they called a creative separation to focus on developing their individual artistic careers. Emma sent me years' worth of social media posts and event photos showing Adam and Becca together at various art exhibitions, photography festivals, and gallery openings. They were clever about it, never posting obvious couple photos, but always appearing in group shots together or tagging each other in artistic photos. Looking back through the evidence, I could see dozens of events during our relationship where they were clearly together. The worst part was discovering that Adam had lied about that photography festival he attended last summer. He told me it was a solo trip to build his professional portfolio, but Emma showed me photos where he and Becca were sharing a booth together, selling prints of their collaborative work. There were even blog posts about them being a dynamic artistic duo and interviews where they discussed their ongoing creative partnership. When Emma dug deeper, she found old posts from their college days where they talked about their plan to take a break to build separate careers before coming back together. They had this whole idea about how separation would make their art more meaningful and give them stories to tell through their work. It was like they saw their relationship itself as some kind of artistic project. I couldn't believe how blind I had been. All those times Adam got defensive about his past with Becca, all those industry events he discouraged me from attending, the locked cabinet of preserved memories, it all made perfect sense now. I wasn't competing with a ghost from his past, I was unknowingly being used as a subplot in their ongoing love story. I confronted Adam with everything Emma had shown me. I expected more lies or excuses, but instead, he finally came clean. He admitted that he and Becca had maintained their relationship in secret, claiming they kept it quiet to protect their professional reputations while they established themselves separately in the art world. But what really got me was his suggestion that we could find a way to make it work together. He actually sat there and told me that Becca was open-minded about arrangements and that maybe the three of us could create something unique through our different perspectives on love and art. He tried to spin it like this could be some kind of groundbreaking artistic collaboration. I was absolutely disgusted. Everything about our relationship had been built on lies. All those moments I thought were special between us, him teaching me photography, our darkroom sessions, the photos we took together, were probably just him gathering material for whatever story he and Becca were trying to tell through their art. The photography community has mostly sided with them, of course. They're framing me as the unstable outsider who didn't understand their artistic vision and tried to destroy their work out of jealousy. Becca has been especially vocal, writing long posts about how artists need to protect their creative connections and legacies from destructive influences. Looking back now, I actually feel relieved that I destroyed those films. Not because it was right, I still know it was wrong to destroy someone's property. But if I hadn't done it, I might have gone on being their unknowing supporting character for who knows how long. They weren't just preserving memories in that locked cabinet, they were collecting materials for the next chapter of their story. I've moved all my stuff out of Adam's darkroom and blocked both of them everywhere. Emma has been really supportive and even offered to help me file a complaint with the art school about Adam's behavior with a student, but I just want to be done with the whole situation. I feel used and humiliated, but at least now I know the truth. Update 3. This will be my final update because I'm finally closing this chapter of my life. The past 3 months have been a roller coaster, but I've learned a lot about myself and what I want from relationships. Adam and Becca have officially gone public with their relationship. They're planning this big joint photography exhibition called Preserved Light, a study in love, loss, and artistic destruction. Their artist statement talks about how their forced separation and the violent destruction of their shared memories led to a deeper understanding of their artistic bond. They're literally taking my pain and turning it into their next big gallery show. The local art community has completely embraced their narrative. They've done several interviews for art blogs where they talk about how their creative separation made their connection stronger. Becca talks about how losing those undeveloped photos taught her the impermanence of physical art, while Adam discusses how watching his work get destroyed opened his eyes to new artistic possibilities. I've become the villain in their story, the crazy, jealous girlfriend who couldn't understand their deep artistic connection and tried to destroy it out of spite. Some of their supporters have even started a fundraising campaign to help them rebuild their lost archive. It's like they're using my lowest moment to advance their careers. Emma, the photography student who helped expose their lies, got fired from her assistant position at the art school after Adam complained about her unprofessional behavior. She told me it was worth it though, because she couldn't stand watching them manipulate another person the way they apparently did with previous students and collaborators. The whole experience made me question everything about that year of my life. Was I really learning photography, or was I just being set up as material for their art? Were those teaching moments in the darkroom genuine, or was Adam just gathering content for their exhibition? Every memory feels tainted now. But surprisingly, I'm okay. The anger and humiliation have faded into something like relief. I've started taking photography classes at a different art school across town. My new instructor actually treats me like a serious student, not just a muse or a plot device in someone else's story. I bought my own film camera, nothing fancy or vintage, just a simple tool for learning. I've been documenting my own journey of healing through photos. Not in an artsy, pretentious way like they would, but just honest shots of my daily life as I rebuild. My sister says these photos show more real emotion than any of Adam's carefully composed portraits ever did. Some of Adam and Becca's friends still send me nasty messages about the destroyed films. Yes, I shouldn't have done it. Yes, destroying art was wrong. But you know what? Those weren't just artistic works I destroyed, they were physical proof of their deception, carefully preserved and hidden away while they used me as entertainment. They can have their artistic connection, their fancy gallery show. They can sell their story of love overcoming destruction. I'd rather be alone than be someone's unwitting character study. I'd rather take simple, honest photos than be part of their elaborate artistic deception. Next week, I'm starting an internship at a local newspaper. No artistic pretensions, just straightforward photojournalism. Maybe someday I'll do my own exhibition about recovering from manipulation and finding your authentic voice. But for now, I'm just focusing on rebuilding my life, one honest photo at a time. To everyone who supported me through this, thank you. I'm finally done being part of their story and ready to start telling my own.